Hi, my name is Ethan, and I'm going to be doing my presentation on the ethics of using real Christmas trees in your home. When you hear about using real Christmas trees in your home, what do you think of? Is it environmental protection that comes to mind? Do you feel that using a pine tree in your home is wasteful and damaging to our surrounding forests? Do you perhaps feel like protecting a venerable family tradition is more important than this one tree? Or, like most of us, you might not think of it at all. But where do Christmas trees come from? Because if they really come from forests, then that raises some concerns on whether or not using real Christmas trees is environmentally sustainable. I decided to find out. So, I'm here at Stevens Tree Farm in Layton, Utah with Kay Stevens, who's going to tell us a little bit about where Christmas trees come from. Hi, Kay.
Hi.
So, how big is this place?
My place is 2 3/4 acres, and I only have about 1.5 acres of trees.
Okay.
But you can plant the trees every 3 feet, so that's really, if you put the math to that, that's a lot of trees.
Wow. I have to be honest, this is the last place I would have expected to find a Christmas tree farm, in somebody's backyard.
Mm-hmm.
Is this common?
No, not usually. We just had this property and it wasn't fenced and we couldn't afford fencing, so we decided to put trees in it because trees don't run away.
No, they don't.
And then we thought maybe the kids could harvest them for their college.
Yeah, cool. So where do you get the Christmas trees from?
We get them from a place in Michigan, and we get them when we get them. They're either 3 years old or 5 years old. When they send them, we buy them by the thousand.
Okay.
The trees are about 50 cents a piece.
Oh.
And they're about the size of a pencil when we get them.
Okay.
So you can't hardly even see them once you plant them. You can't see them from the distance.
Cool. So can you explain to me a little bit about how the process works? Like how after you cut them down, like how do they get from your yard to people's homes?
Well, it's a choose and cut Christmas tree farm.
Uh-huh.
So they come out and they choose it themselves.
Oh, okay.
Most of them want to cut it themselves.
Yeah.
And then we either take it to their car, or they do, and stuff it in the back of their truck, or we have twine from our hay that we will tie it on top of the roof for them.
Yes. I saw a video where they actually put the tree through a chute.
Uh-huh.
And then as they put it through the chute, the net just wraps right around it, and they cut it, and then they throw it on top, and then it's all done. Do you have anything like that?
We don't. A lot of people have those, but those are for the big farms.
Uh-huh.
And when they start doing that kind of stuff, they start probably end of September cutting the trees.
Uh-huh.
So when you get your tree in December, it's pretty dried out. And what they do is they do that, and then they refrigerate them. So, but then by the time you get them, they're pretty dried out. We choose this kind because the families just love to hunt down their own trees and have their kids come out and they make a day of it.
It sounds like a lot of fun. Do you think that the advent of artificial Christmas trees, do you think that that has hurt the sales of the Christmas tree industry at all, or like for you personally?
For a few years it did. When the economy went kind of bad, we didn't sell a lot of trees. And I think people just bought artificial trees and just started using them. But the natural trees, it's becoming more a thing to buy natural trees. 2 years ago we sold out completely, and we sold completely out last year.
Okay, cool. Well, that's good.
And the
that's
other
good
farms, there are about 2 farms around here, and one of them came to us and asked if they could refer their clients because they had sold out as well.
Okay, cool. So you mentioned before that you've had some criticism from environmentalists, people saying, why are you cutting these trees down? What would be your response to that?
My response to that is, if people didn't want to buy live Christmas trees, I wouldn't plant them in the first place. And I've planted thousands of Christmas trees, and our place here is very clean, I think, because of that, and it's very fresh air. And I can see a big difference between here and a couple of blocks away, and I think a lot of that is because of the Christmas trees.
Cool. All right, thanks.
Mm-hmm.
And here are some photos that I took of the farm. So after the interview, I wanted to gather some information on Christmas tree farming, and what I found out surprised me. As it turns out, the net carbon binding effect of a full-grown forest is minimal in comparison to one in a perpetual state of growth. 1 acre of growing forest can actually bind up to 75 tons of carbon per year. There's no argument that this effect helps to complete the carbon cycle and alleviate global climate change due to human emissions of CO2. Well, that's all well and good, but where do the used up Christmas trees go after we are done using them? Well, it depends on the place you live in, but many cities have a green waste recycling program. Salt Lake City distributes brown yard waste cans that are used to store bio-waste prior to having it composted at the city landfill. The compost can be used by residents in their gardens, or it can be used by the city in landscaping. Despite all of the great benefits that Christmas tree farming can have, there is a major drawback. Biological systems have evolved under conditions of variability for billions of years. The reason for this is that variability allows for adaptation to change. Whether this change is due to pest invasions, disease, drought, and various other calamities, the system must be able to adapt. In farming, we create what is called a monoculture that has very low biodiversity and thus very low resistance to change. We then find ourselves in a perpetual fight against change while trying to maintain an unsustainable system. Although these arguments may be valid for large industrial-scale farming, I would argue that a small crop like the one at Stevens Tree Farm is not going to create an issue that would require mass usage of industrial-strength pesticides. The benefits that these kinds of farms provide quite literally outweigh the costs. If you recall, Kay said her farm is on 2.75 acres of land. Recall also that an acre of trees can sequester 75 tons of CO2 per year. That comes out to 206.3 tons of CO2 that is pulled out of the atmosphere every year, just on that one farm. Alright, so that concludes this presentation on using real Christmas trees in your home. I hope this following Christmas season you'll support clean air by going out and buying a real Christmas tree. Thanks for watching.